Hello guys, welcome to another custom minifigure video, and this time I'm gonna show you my LEGO custom glass onion figures. Here I have Benoit Blanc, Cassandra Brand, Bron, Birdie J, Peg, DeBella, Lionel Toussaint, Duke Cody, and finally, Whiskey. These figures were made when I saw the set photos when the movie started filming around 2021. And I've been working on them on and off during that time period, and updating each of them when more and more reference pictures gets released. And when the movie came out, I updated them yet again, changing their expressions that fit more with the character's personality, and gave a couple of accessories that's related to the movie. And I'm very happy with how my figures turned out in the end. Also, I would like to add that this video spoils major plot points in the movie. So, yeah. Enough talking, let's get on with the video. First up is Benoit Blanc. We finally get to see Daniel Craig as Benoit Blanc again in this, and he's the only returning character in the movie, which makes sense since this is literally a different story than the first. This was the first figure I made in my Glass Onion project. His outfit was based on the opening dock scene of the movie. He was wearing a beige suit and pink dress shirt and a light blue neckerchief that was actually made out of paper to give that 3D look. And then I sculpted his watch. I didn't make his blazer since we didn't really see him wearing it in the scene. And finally, for his accessory, I gave him a brown briefcase. And additionally, I made another Benoit Blanc, and this one was based on his swimwear outfit that he wore in the pool scene. I actually made this Blanc from the movie's release at the time, but here's the thing, I didn't paint the back until recently. In the movie, he was wearing a blue and white striped seersucker swimwear that I fully painted, and I used a paper for his yellow neckerchief too. And finally, I painted his cream-colored sandals, and that is it with my Benoit Blanc figure. Next up, we have the fashionista Birdie J. Birdie was the second figure I made, and this is my second attempt at making her. The first version, I gave her a blank expression, and it really doesn't fit with Birdie's personality, like in the movie. So I updated that and gave her more of a bubbly expression that fits so much better, and for her hair, I gave the second version bangs compared to the old one. Also, I actually forgot to mention in the intro that most of my figures here are based on the arrival scene, when all of the characters reunite and met with Blanc for the first time. Birdie in that scene was wearing a breezy feathered pattern jumpsuit, which was annoying to paint by the way, and an oversized hat. That also had the feathered pattern in it. I made the hat by using a cardstock and sculpted the bowl of the hat. Also, if you noticed, her torso has a 3D element. It's because I precisely cut a piece of paper and glued it to the torso, but I cut it in a way that you can see her back and a bit of her chest. And for her chest, I painted the necklace she was wearing in the scene. And finally, I sculpted her arms and legs because her jumpsuit is pretty baggy. So I wanted to show that for the figure. And that sums it up with my Birdie J. Next, we have Peg, Birdie J's assistant. Peg is a relatively simple figure. My first version of Peg was a tad bit different. I originally made her with the jacket on her waist, but when the posters of the movie were released, it appears that she wasn't wearing it, so I just scrapped the jacket entirely and made the belt bag she was wearing instead. In the movie, she was wearing a light blue tank top paired with gray shorts and black sandals that I painted, and for the bucket hat, I used the bucket hat piece on which I sculpted the hair. And finally, I sculpted her black watch, and that's pretty much it. Here we have the Connecticut Governor Claire DeBella. Claire was the one I had trouble making the first time since I really can't make out her outfit is, which is ironic since she has the most bland outfit in the group. My first version of Claire was very half-assed. I didn't make her visor at the time since I really don't know how to do it. But thankfully, after a lot of experience with making figures outside of this project, I was confident enough to sculpt her visor and hair. Her outfit is pretty simple. She's wearing a beige suit paired with a striped orange shirt underneath that I fully painted, And finally, I sculpted her watch and painted it gray. And yeah, that's finally it for the governor. Next up is the scientist Lionel Toussaint. When the set photos came out, he was the one I was really looking forward for making. But of course, the reference was minimal, so I just made up as I go. My first version of him, I gave him a shoulder bag. But unfortunately for me, he didn't really wear it as much in the movie, so I just decided to do the unbuttoned version of the outfit. He wore a brown patterned dashiki paired with a beaded necklace and yellow pants that I painted. And finally, I sculpted his olive green beanie and his goatee. And that is it with Lionel. I remember the first time watching the movie that I thought he was the killer. Up next is Duke Cody. Duke is a unique case compared to my original figures of the group, because in my first version, I actually sculpted his muscles. And when I redid my Duke, I decided not to go for the sculpted muscles route, because it looks weird now, and my style of painting figures changed over time. And in my old Duke, he just had a serious expression, and I didn't really like it, so I just changed his expression to match more of his personality in the movie. In the movie, he was wearing an animal shirt, which I didn't make the pattern because it was too complicated. So I just painted it brown and gave black spots all over the shirt. And I also didn't try to replicate Dave Bautista's tattoos because it was too hard for me, man. I did tried it with my old Duke, but it just looks messy and I didn't want that. But I did paint his silver necklace. Then next he had the pink pants with light brown boots that I painted. And for the hat, I did the same thing with Birdie, where I used a cardstock as the brim and sculpted the bowl with a feather on the side. And finally, I sculpted his watch. And for his accessory, I gave him his gun that he kept firing in the movie. And that's finally it for the band Streamer. Next up is Duke's girlfriend, Whiskey. When I made her the first time, I really don't know how to sculpt long hair on a minifigure, so I used an actual piece. I forgot what piece it was, but there might be a picture I'd show here. And for her second attempt, I finally got a good piece for her, which was the long wavy with a center part hairpiece that I sculpted the sides of. Her torso is pretty simple. I painted the necklace and used paper for her top and painted the pattern on it. If you notice the arms, I sculpted a bit of clay because her top is a bit baggy, so I wanted to show off that. I even wrapped a bit of e-tape for her bracelet and painted it gold. Then I wrapped it up by painting her white denim shorts and brown boots. And that's it with my Whiskey. Finally, I have the last member of the Disruptors that arrived in the dock scene. The former CEO of Alpha, Cassandra Brand. Here's the thing when making Andy. When the set photos came out, we didn't know what her outfit looks like, and we only have this photo. And it was hard to make out the outfit, so I waited until we get our first look of the character. And she was wearing a maxi dress that I painted red, white, black, and a bit of orange. I used paper for the whole dress, and finally, I sculpted both of her bracelets. Pretty short, and that's it with my Andy figure. Okay, here is my third and final figure of Benoit Blanc. This look is based on the outfit he wore in the Miles' murder mystery party, specifically when he's doing his denouement without the blazer. In that, he was wearing a light blue shirt paired with a pink neckerchief and his brown loafers that I fully painted. And of course, I also sculpted his watch. This is the blank figure that I put on my display case, and I couldn't be more happy with how all of my Blanc figures turned out. Here, we have the true protagonist of the movie, and the twin sister of Andy, Helen Brand. With Helen here, I originally just made one version of my Andy figure, and it was the one I showed earlier, but after I rewatched the movie for the upteenth time, it would suck if I didn't make Helen. So I decided to make another figure of Andy, which is basically just Helen in my collection at that point. I based her outfit in the murder mystery party, where she was wearing an all-white suit that I fully painted, and for her accessory, I gave her the red envelope, and famous napkin. And that's it with Helen. Finally, to wrap up the video, I have the tech billionaire, Miles Bron. Back to the thing about the set photos. Apart from Andy, we didn't see Miles in those photos, so I didn't make him until we got our first look of the movie. I based him off in his murder mystery outfit. He was wearing a gray blazer paired with a gray V-neck shirt, beige khakis, and tan loafers. I also painted the necklace he wore throughout the movie, and that sums it up about his outfit. And for his accessory, I gave him his signature glass that I painted his name on it with gold. I even put a little bit of clay that I painted yellow for the lemon. The glass piece originated from a knockoff figure of Mihawk that I chopped off the stem. And finally, I gave him Duke's gun. And that's it with Miles. And that wraps up with all of my Glass Onion figures. All 12 figures including Benoit Blanc's outfit. I worked on them on and off, and I'm happy that I finally get to share and talk about this. And thank you for watching until the end of this video. It really means a lot to me. And as promised, I'm gonna work on the next video, which is the Wake Up Dead Men Showcase, so that I can finally wrap up my LEGO Knives Out project. And that's it for me. Thank you for watching. Bye!